school or whatever, but it's true. The spirit of America is what's sexy, is what's avant-garde, is what's, punk rock or counterculture. These little weasels wanting authoritarian control and speech control, they're the ancient oppression. We're the cutting edge. We're the rock and roll. Hell, we've got Ted Nugent at the head of the spear here. So Paul Watson, one of my top guys, he gets more views online than I do a week now. Conservatively, about 30 million. Okay, total rock star level. And he made the point just in a video a few weeks ago. He said, in fact, he mentioned, look at Ted Nugent on the show. He said it. Look at all our people are the real rebels. And this is bull that all these chicken neck, weird liberal women putting hijabs on, pledging to Allah. New videos came out from New York yesterday, women praying to Allah because they're liberals. This is all, they're following ancient oppressive crap. We're the cutting edge people. The West brought the freedom. America's the tip of the spear. We ought to be damn proud of it instead of being lectured all day how we've been oppressing the world when we've been the trailblazers of freedom.
Hallelujah, and pass the ammo, Ted Nugent ammo, if you will, please. Yeah, well, Alex, that's why I decided a long time ago that you deserve me, because you're a hellraiser. You stand up for the basics of earning your own way, helping your neighbor without bureaucratic waste and corruption and abuse of power, left in the hands of we the people. And I could give you a million examples, and I know you do on all your programs.
No, lay them out, though. You take over.
But here's the simplest, irrefutable crowbar of evidence right between the eyes that nobody in all the liberal media that I do, they won't even have me on anymore because they know I'll eat their family tree and spit sawdust.
Because you win.
Take on the things that I stand for. And here it is in a nutshell. Every year for 30 years, Alex, the most controversial activity in America today, killing your own dinner, hunting, fishing, trapping. We, the people in the hunting families, kill, process, butcher, skin, hang, age, and cook 250 million meals. Every year, 250 million meals of venison every year for 30 years. It's called Hunters for the Hungry. Government waste, zero. We, the people, perfection, perfect. And the left, the anti-hunting, the Pelosi, Boxer, Feinstein, Schumer, et al., Clinton, Obama, Eric Holder, they all hate hunters. And we donate free of charge, no cost to our fellow Americans at soup kitchens and homeless shelters, 250 million meals every year of renewable sacred protein. You talk about caveman, you talk about paleo nutrition, bone broth, backstraps, haunch, slavage, sacred flesh, God's pure protein, dinner on the hoof. That's what the Nugent family has always stood up for, and the media hates me for it. Meanwhile, we're feeding tens of millions of hungry Americans with pure natural protein. You want grass-fed beef? No, thank you. I'll have browse-fed white-tailed deer venison. This is a perfect example of what the left would ban tonight if they could, and we just trounce them with goodwill, decency, love, compassion, and generosity for our fellow man. Hunting, fishing, trapping, gun ownership, those were the tip of the culture war spear back in the 60s, and I confronted it first and foremost on the first rock and roll radio stations, and when they tried to make fun and ridicule me, I ate them alive.
No, you didn't. That's a key point, though. That's a key point. The new thing they're doing is they create caricatures of yourself, myself on TV shows, and then they have us say things on cartoon shows, but also with actors, of things we never said.
Absolutely.
And then people say, oh, I saw Ted Nugent, I saw Alex Jones. In fact, this just happened to both of us. I don't know if you know this the last week. And that's not us. We didn't say that. They call us fake news. They're the fake news.
Oh, Alex, I am so excited. Of course, I'm always excited. But I'm really, really thrilled beyond words that the world has now come to grips with what I have had to deal with for 40-plus years. Fake news. Let's take the most egregious example. The media, HuffPost, MoveOn.org, Southern Poverty Law Center, all these America-hating punks wrote that I told the Native Americans to go back where they came from, and I was a racist denouncing my Indian brothers, when in fact my entire life dedicated to promote the Native American lifestyle with the Great White Buffalo Song, Geronimo and Me, Spirit of the Wild, Tooth, Fang, and Claw, Spirit of the Buffalo. Are you kidding me? And idiots believed them. It was a lie.
It's incredible, I know, and it's just like, but the good news is people are onto it. So let me ask you this. Again, you've been a trailblazer. It's true. Well, probably the first Americana and the whole resurgence in the last 30, 40 years. I believe we're winning. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're starting to win. But how do the globalists strike back? I mean, what are you concerned about?
Well, and again, I'll give you, my examples are just like, a tsunami of evidence and truth and logic. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania were constantly touted by the fake news media, reliably blue. And they were reliably blue. But if you examine those states, like every state, including the states like California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, those aren't blue states. Those are red states with just little high-crime blue smudges. Wherever you see little blue smudges.
Little blue turds.
It's the high-crime area. It is the pimps, the whores, and the welfare brats, or the racist liberals that promote pimps, whores, and welfare brats. That's the title of our Star Parker's book, by the way. If nobody's ever read Star Parker's book, Pimps, Whores, and Welfare Brats, read it, because it tells you the truth in the most brave and courageous way, much like Rosa Parks. My point being is that I went to Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania during the Trump campaign. I spent until 3 o'clock in the morning on November 7th with Donald Trump in Grand Rapids, Michigan, after wallpaper and carpet bombing those three states, shaming we the people who didn't show up for John McCain and Mitt Romney, because John McCain and Mitt Romney brought a doily to a grenade fight. I mean, talking about spineless wimps, talking about moderates standing for nothing, and I just saturated the airwaves in those three states.
No, there's no doubt you helped Trump win. There's no doubt, and that's the thing. Trump has spirit, you have spirit, I have spirit. That's what defeats this, not being moderate, because as Barry Goldwater said, extremism and defense of liberty is no vice. We have to be hardcore in the face of these bullies, and they're trying to bully free speech. They're trying to restrict our speech. They're trying to get all this done, but the people are responding. So how do you think they're going to counterstrike? I mean, I'm going back to that.
Well, remember our first interviews, our first dialogue, our first conversations, both on the air and off. I identified that it isn't the enemy that's the enemy.
It's us.
It's the apathy, the self-inflicted scourge, the soullessness of disconnect and apathy that allows any American to not participate in this sacred, hard-earned, hard-won experiment in self-government. If you don't impress upon your elected employees, your mayor, your governor, your senator, your congressman, your president, if your elected employees don't know your name, I'd like to thank you for nothing. They go, well, Ted, you got a bully pulpit. You can speak for no way. Every American has a bully pulpit.
That's it. And now Soros
use it.
And Soros has doubled the money since the election 3 months ago to try to get their people to go bully the elected representatives. We don't bully. We go shake their hand. We talk to them. So what you said is key. All of us have to get more involved. The fact that we've been given this reprieve from destruction, from the Black Lives Matter, kill the cops, Civil War, traitors. The fact that we've been given this Trump beachhead means now we're literally the soldiers coming in at Normandy. We've got to get on the beach and get inland. Now is the real political fight. It's what you're saying, Ted Nugent.
Ditto, ditto, ditto. I have, communication is key. How you relate to the public is key. So we the people would like to thank and salute you, Alex, because you ran that crowbar of truth and common sense where it's supposed to go. But right now I have 20 million Facebookers. I hover between 10 million and 36 million Facebookers. And I don't think old Zuckerberg ever figured I'd be using that to promote gun rights and self-evident truth and hunting rights and trapping rights and tax reform and fixing the outrageous corruption in our so-called justice system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the communication I have on my Facebook, by the way, live on the Alex Jones radio show, I, Ted Nugent, wish to salute and thank the common sense, hard-working, ass-kicking Americans that celebrate this campfire, this electronic campfire at my Ted Nugent Facebook. What you and I stand for is not weird. engineered. What got Donald Trump elected was we the people who have to live by logic. They have to live within their means. We have to earn our own way so we don't embarrass ourselves. And that spirit of independence and rugged individualism is not only alive and well, but finally it showed up and voted.
That's right. America is winning again. America's winning. So in those 6-7 minutes we have left, specifically, because the news will want to know, because I saw some of the quotes, obviously, if the people want you and people get behind you, what's the time frame? How do we get you to run for Senate there in Michigan? What's the time frame?
Well, Michigan was the epicenter of productivity and work ethic when I was born there in 1948. And I spend a lot of time in Michigan. I'm a proud Texas resident because I demand freedom, and Texas has got it. But Michigan is still politically a suburb of Chicago, and it's just heartbreaking and embarrassing. But we did prove that the state is red on November 8th last year. And I don't know if I'm ready to run for Senate, or they want me to run for governor. They want me to do a lot of things. And my soulmate, the queen of the forest, Ted Nugent, my kids and my brothers, my sisters, everybody in my family will have to vote on whether I run for public office. But the threat is real, Alex. I am monitoring the conditions in Michigan. I will move back if I have to. But here's a little caveat. My good friend Bob Ritchie, known as Kid Rock, I guess I'm Daddy Rock.
He's looking to run.
He's also threatened. And let me tell you, you don't hear much from Kid Rock, but he's like you and me. He lives by logic.
No, he was over at Jesse James's place just the other day. I know he's a patriot.
Yep, he's a good guy, and what he represents would represent you and I very well. So he's already a resident of Michigan.
Sure, I just can't imagine, hey, sending Ted Nugent back to reconquer for the people of Michigan, like sending General Patton into Nazi Germany, or somebody like MacArthur into Japan. I mean, it would be wonderful to see you march in there. The people want you and retake it. But I get it. If you can send Kid Rock or somebody else, that's great. You certainly have done so much. But the people want you. And again, you've already done so much. I just think, as you look at the demographics, the people, it would be so good. As you said, governor, senator. And I know you're so happy what you're doing. You're already having such a giant effect, already probably helping Trump win the election, undoubtedly. And so, I mean, I agree with you. I'm not saying you should do it. I think I trust you. You should decide what you're going to do. When will we know if you're going to run for office in Michigan?
Well, my plate's really full. We're doing a lot of charity work with our Sunrise Safari, taking, terminally ill kids on their last hunting trip in life, and working with the various military charities every day. I'm writing new music. I got a new record coming out, be touring all summer long. Ted Nugent, Make America Rock Again 2017. And I'm raising hell every day in the media and in social media, and I'm writing a new book, so I'm really busy. But I'm 68 years old, 68 years clean and sober, raising maximum American dream, we the people hell. So I've got the health, I've got the exuberance, I've got the vitality.
You're a fighter, you can't, yeah. Absolutely.
There's nothing I wouldn't do as long as Mrs. Nugent supports it, and she does it this time. I will do whatever I have to do to keep this momentum going, to get back to the Constitution and accountability. That's all this government needs.
Well, Ted, let me say this in the time we have, and I know you're a busy man, but please come back more often. TedNugent.com, your 20 million Facebook supporting folks. Spread the word. It's a war. We're starting to win. We haven't won yet. It comes down to this. While we know the leftists have got problems, and I'm not being mean, they're always super unhealthy. They have dead eyes. They're hateful. They don't work usually. They're just pissed off failures. And then I look at somebody like Ted Nugent or a President Trump. You guys are such on fire. You have energy. You care. You're building things. How could people not see this is what made America great? And those big fires of liberty, like a Ted Nugent or like a President Trump, just the action and the will and the delivery. Why isn't it obvious that that's the type of Americana, virile strength we need?
Well, I think it is obvious to more and more people all the time, but you can't just acknowledge that it's obvious. You have to act upon it. That's what they did on November 8th.
And use it as an example.
I see momentum growing. You realize when Soros spends hundreds of millions of dollars to ban guns in certain jurisdictions of this country,
yes,
the NRA and we the people raise 1/100th of that,
and win.
And we win.
That's it. They don't want to win. The globalists just want full control. We got 2 minutes left, and you've never done this before, and we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I'm going to play just in the background low Ted Nugent Stranglehold, one of your greatest hits. And just if you want to rant with a final message of a call to political arms to the people during these key victories we're having as we go into the storm, into the fulcrum, then I'll say bye to you during the break. But Ted Nugent, TedNugent.com, here is the anthem that Special Forces, and I've talked to them, it's true, they fly into combat more than any song, not even Fly to the Valkyries. In fact, I think next time Trump flies in, it should be with this plan, not Fly the Valkyries. Here's the real Fly the Valkyries, Ted Nugent. Ted, rant for a minute and a half for us.
I'll make it real simple. Freedom is not free. I'm a blessed and humbled and very lucky man to spend time with Marcus Luttrell, Gary O'Neill, the American warrior, heroes of the U.S. Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the U.S. Marine Corps, National Guard, every warrior group, Special Forces, Delta Force, Navy SEALs, Green Berets. They all are excited as can be that we, the people, finally put a commander-in-chief in the White House that represents the spirit of rugged individualism and absolutely declaring our independence based upon the self-evident truth articulated and listed in the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. How dare any American not participate in this experiment in self-government that was earned and won and fortified with the blood and guts and lives of the U.S. military heroes that gave up their lives, their legs, their eyes, their arms, their skin, so we can be free based on the U.S. Constitution. Now is the time for we the people to be National Rifle Association members and a pain in the ass in our elected employees to demand constitutional accountabilities as a way of we the people saying thank you for the U.S. military warriors providing this freedom we call America.
That's right. You compare the spirit of our military to the general public or these minions, and it's just two different worlds. Ted, thank you so much. TedNugent.com. I'll say bye to you in the break. We'll be back. That's Ted Nugent, ladies and gentlemen, looking to run for Senate or governor in Michigan. We'll be back.